You're not in love. You're in emotional free trial mode, and somehow already planning the wedding because they replied with "ha ha" and used your name in the text. And if that felt a little too specific, congratulations. You are exactly who this video is for. You meet someone. They give you a little attention, a little warmth, a little consistency. Maybe they double text once. Maybe they remember your coffee order. Maybe they watch your Instagram story suspiciously fast for 3 days in a row, and suddenly your nervous system is like, well, this seems legally binding. Now you're checking your phone every 6 minutes like it's a heart monitor. You're rereading messages for tone. You're decoding punctuation like you work for the FBI. You're pretending to be chill while internally building a whole emotional Airbnb for a future that does not exist yet. And the worst part? You know you're doing it. You know it's too much too soon. You know you barely know this person. You know they could still turn out to be emotionally unavailable, deeply confusing, or a man who says, "Let's just see where it goes," at the age of 34. But your feelings still hit the gas like they're trying to outrun abandonment. So let's say this clearly. You are not crazy. You are not pathetic. You are not too much. You probably got attached fast because your nervous system learned to mistake attention for safety. That is not the same thing as love. And once you understand that, a lot of your romantic chaos starts making deeply annoying sense. Because fast attachment usually isn't about, wow, this person is my soulmate. It's more often, wow, my body feels relief. I should hold on to this before it disappears. That is a very different story. If your emotional wiring was shaped by inconsistency, mixed signals, emotional neglect, or love that had to be earned, your brain did not grow up treating connection like a calm, stable thing. It treated connection like weather, unpredictable, fragile, subject to change without notice. So now, when someone shows up and seems even a little bit steady, your brain doesn't go, "Let's slowly get to know them." It goes, "Finally, a retirement plan." That's the trap. Because your body is not always reacting to the person in front of you. Sometimes it's reacting to what they represent. Relief, validation, rescue, the end of uncertainty. Proof that maybe you are, in fact, lovable. And that's why one decent conversation can feel like destiny when you've been emotionally dehydrated. Your brain saw one crumb of consistency and said, "Perfect. We live here now." So how do you know this is your pattern? Here are the signs. First, you confuse attention with intimacy. This is a classic. They text you good morning twice, ask how your meeting went, maybe call you cute once, and suddenly your whole inner world is like, this is emotional depth. No, it is contact. Attention can feel intimate when you've been starved for it. But being noticed is not the same thing as being known. Someone replying quickly does not mean they can hold your emotions. Someone flirting well does not mean they can love well. Someone being interested does not mean they are safe. But if you grew up with inconsistent affection, basic attentiveness can feel almost sacred. So you start investing emotionally before trust has actually been built. You hand them emotional VIP access because they made eye contact and asked a follow-up question. Again, relatable, but dangerous. Second, you build emotional castles out of tiny signals. They send one song, you think it means something. They say, "We should go there sometime." You hear wedding vows. They pause before replying, and now you're zooming in on screenshots like a crime analyst, trying to figure out whether the vibe has shifted. People who attach fast are often extremely good at pattern detection. Unfortunately, in dating, that skill can turn into psychological fan fiction. You are not just seeing what happened. You are layering meaning onto it. You are filling in blanks. You are turning potential into narrative. And to be fair, sometimes your intuition is sharp. But sometimes it's not intuition. Sometimes it's anxiety in a blazer, pretending to be wisdom. You are reading emotional tea leaves and calling it destiny. Third, silence feels like danger. This one is brutal. If they take longer than usual to reply, your whole body changes. Your appetite disappears. Your focus evaporates. You suddenly cannot enjoy your evening because now you are mentally standing outside a locked emotional door. And logically, you know people get busy. They have jobs, meetings, bad sleep, social batteries, entire lives. But your body is not reacting logically. It is reacting historically. Because for people who attach fast, silence often does not feel neutral. It feels like the beginning of loss. Not because you're dramatic, because at some point, inconsistency trained your body to brace. So now, a 4-hour gap can feel like rejection. A dry text can feel like emotional eviction. A slight tone change can send you into a spiral so fast you deserve your own theme music. You tell yourself to calm down. You try to act normal. Meanwhile, your nervous system is in the corner flipping tables. Fourth, you attach to potential, not reality. This is where things get especially humbling. You don't just like who they are, you like who they could be. You meet someone who is kind but inconsistent, charming but avoidant, emotionally interesting but somehow impossible to pin down. Objectively, complicated. But in your mind, a project with a beautiful ending. So you start bonding with the version of them that exists mostly in hope. The version that will heal, choose you, communicate better, stop being confusing, and finally become the person your heart met in the trailer instead of the actual full movie. You are not dating the person. You are dating the promise. And because potential is so seductive, you end up grieving things that were never actually real. Not the relationship that existed, the one you kept trying to emotionally crowdfund. Fifth, you start abandoning yourself early to keep the connection. This is the part nobody likes to admit. When you attach fast, you often start editing yourself almost immediately. You hold back needs so you won't seem difficult. You pretend you're okay with casual when you're not. You make yourself smaller, easier, cooler, less affected. You wait for their texts while acting like you don't care. You say, "No worries," while your soul is filing a complaint. You become hyper-focused on being chosen and slowly stop choosing yourself. And that's the real cost of fast attachment. It's not just that you feel a lot. It's that you start betraying your own peace in exchange for proximity. You call it chemistry. Sometimes it's actually self-abandonment with a cute playlist. Now here's the part I need you to hear carefully. Getting attached fast does not mean you are weak. It does not mean you are foolish. And it definitely does not mean you are unlovable. It often means you are deeply responsive to connection. You feel warmth quickly. You care sincerely. You notice subtle shifts. You don't treat love like a game, and honestly, that part is beautiful. The problem is not that you feel deeply. The problem is that your depth can get hijacked by fear. Because sensitivity without boundaries becomes self-erasure. Hope without discernment becomes fantasy. Love without safety becomes survival. That doesn't make your heart wrong. It means your heart needs structure. Your ability to bond is not a flaw. It is a gift. But a gift without boundaries becomes self-destruction. You do not need to become colder. You do not need to play games. You do not need to become one of those people who texts back 3 business days later to seem mysterious. You just need to stop handing out emotional access before reality has earned it. Let people be consistent longer. Let their actions repeat. Let time reveal character. Let your body learn that slow does not mean losing. Because healthy love usually does not feel like a panic sprint. It feels a little less cinematic, a little less addictive, and a whole lot more peaceful. And yes, peace can feel boring when your nervous system is used to chaos. That is not proof it's wrong. That is proof you are detoxing from confusion. So if you get attached too fast, don't shame yourself. Get curious. Ask, did I fall for them? Or did I fall for the relief of being wanted? Did I love this person? Or did I love what my body thought they might finally fix? That question alone can save you months of spiraling. You are not crazy. You attached fast because your nervous system mistook attention for safety. That pattern may have protected you once, but you do not have to keep living inside it. You can feel deeply and move slowly. You can want love without abandoning yourself for it. You can stay soft without becoming self-destructive. And that, honestly, is where your power starts. If this video made you feel a little less ashamed and a little more understood, subscribe to Doodle Dynamics Lab and hit like. Because around here, we don't just romanticize emotional chaos. We untangle it. And maybe, little by little, we teach your heart that attention is nice, but safety is earned.